Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're back in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm with Lilja today. Welcome, Lilja.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. And one of my favorite questions to ask people is if you could have whatever you wanted with food and body, or your relationship with food and body, if you could wave your magic wand, what would be your wish? What would you get?
Wow, I have so many words coming to my mind, like enjoyment, freedom, and limitless. I would also say.
So,
and of course, health and vitality.
Great. What's the biggest challenge for you around food and around eating and your relationship with all that?
Right now, it is just trusting that whatever that I do eat, it's okay that I eat it, whether it's like whatever form it comes in, because I'm very specific on what I want to eat and restrictive of I only want to eat this. And it's really hard to please me when I go to a restaurant or something, because I'm very particular on what I want on my plate. And that can be very harmful for me and for relationships that I have.
Mm-hmm. How does that end up being harmful for you? Give me some examples. What can happen?
I don't get to I feel fear when I go out to other places and stuff. I would rather want to skip eating there because I always want to just be in my own zone and make my own food.
Mm-hmm. And part of your love for being in your own zone, making your own food, is that for health reasons? Is that for reasons of weight? Why do you like being specific with food?
I would say both. From a very young age, I've loved to be in the kitchen, and I'm known for being always making healthy foods and stuff. So when I go to the kitchen, I go into this creative mode where I want to make things and stuff. But right now I make a lot of things, and I make it for others and stuff, and I give them that, but I don't want to eat it. But then I make the same thing for me, and I just want to eat that specific thing.
Mm-hmm. So how does it impact relationships for you?
I find it hard to go out to eat with others, or if there's a celebration, I think it's hard for me to be able to maybe eat what other people are eating.
Mm-hmm. So are you trying to lose weight?
I'm actually underweight right now, so that shouldn't be my motive. And I'm at a unhealthy place. A lot of people want to tell me, because I've lost a lot of weight, and I have fluctuated in my weight since, for the past maybe 6-7 years. I've fluctuated a lot in my weight. I go really high up and then low down, and then so right now I have fear of going back up extremely, but yet I want to have freedom and eat what I like and love.
Mm-hmm. So yes, that's a little bit of a challenge. So why do you think your weight goes up and down?
Because of what kind of relationship I have with myself and food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you say more about that? Can you describe what that looks like for you, or just say more words about that?
So I maybe go up in my weight because of emotional trauma and something that happens, and it makes me seek for food in a different way. And then when I want to like lose the weight, I always have like this extreme approach. And I do whatever it takes. And it comes from a healthy perspective of where I want to have balance and feel good and stuff. But then it goes to the extreme where I only like, this is the only thing that you think about. And this is the only thing that matters in your life. Whereas there is so much more potential around you and things that you are allowed to experience, but it's like you're scared to experience them because you're afraid to get burned again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, how old are you, Lilja?
I'm 25.
25. And you're in Iceland?
Yes.
Born and raised, yes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was in America when I was younger for about 3 years, and I've moved, or I visit there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it here in the U.S.?
In America?
Yes.
Or in Iceland? Yeah.
No, in the U.S.
I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here you are, and you have these up and down times, and when your weight is going up, it sounds like there's emotional challenges that happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
And can you give me an example of something emotionally challenging that would cause you to start eating more and gain weight?
If I'm trying to like ignore some feelings that I have in a relationship, or stop being honest to myself of what I want, and like I was in a relationship where I didn't, or I wanted to get out of it, and then I used food as a go-to thing to like comfort me. And then also I had my heart broken one time, and then I seeked for food. But it was, I knew like that I needed to eat more and I needed to rest more because I was overtraining and I was under eating when I was in the relationship. And then when I got out, I wanted to be healthy, but it just kind of went into this like roller coaster.
Yes. Yeah. So, and this has been happening, you said, for the past, how many years? The up and down?
Since I was about, yeah, my weight has gone up and down since I was about probably 17 or 18.
Got it. And before that, not so much.
No, but I remember that like from a young age, I was aware of like that I was a little bit bigger than maybe other girls and stuff, but I became very athletic and I started eating healthier and it made me feel really good. And so I kept doing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you living alone or living with others now?
I live with my parents right now.
And how's that for you?
I really like it.
Yay, good for you. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad to hear that. Mm-hmm. And how about work for you right now? Are you working?
Yes, I'm working and I work from home.
And do you find that there's any times when you notice, wow, my relationship with food is much better right now? Like, have there been moments of that or weeks of that during these last, 6, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, there have come times.
Mm-hmm. And what might be different about those times?
I have become like very aware of my hunger cues and stuff like that and what I want to eat, and I would trust myself more around food.
Mm-hmm. What do your parents think about what you go through with food and weight?
A lot of things, because they've seen me go through everything, and they have helped me a lot and helped me open my eyes to my challenges with my weight and my body. And so they think that they know that it's something that I will use in the future, and that I'm learning, and that I am just on a journey, and that it's like I need to take time and get through it. But it's been like very hard on them also, because of the fluctuating moods and everything that has impacted also, which is not so fun to have to deal with.
Yeah. Understandable. But they sound like such good people that they
are great. They're
are looking
awesome
to support you, and they could understand the big picture. And of course, they love you. So it's hard. Parents just want to see their kids be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If it was only that simple sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this far in your life, in your young life, what do you think you've learned from this experience of eating and the fluctuations and the emotions? If you can look back on it and say, it's taught me some interesting things about me or about life, what might that be?
That, like, how you feel spiritually and emotionally, it impacts you a lot physically.
Yes. That's a big one, right? Yeah, it's so big. So what does being spiritual mean for you?
It means having a personal relationship with someone higher than you. So I am a Christian and I believe in Jesus. So I have a personal relationship with him. And when that kind of, like when I push it away and I don't, I stop doing spiritual things, or like I stop seeking, I stop praying, I stop like soul searching and things like that, then there's something inside that is not fulfilled. So I try to seek in other ways, whether it's eating a lot or not eating, or yeah.
It's hard, I think, as human beings, that when we have a spiritual connection and that stops, or it breaks, or we somehow manage to call a time out on it and we forget about it and we go to other places, it makes sense that when you lose your connection to Jesus, you need to replace it with something.
Yes.
And food is a good replacement. I mean, to the mind, because it gives me instant relief. It makes me feel better in the moment. But at the same time, it sounds like you realize that, I'm going to something that doesn't really do it for me. But somehow you can't stop yourself from doing that.
Yeah. Because you're a natural human being. You need gas on your tank to think and to make, like, to live. But when your spiritual side isn't fulfilled, and when you feel kind of you're not happy about your situations, or something is bothering you, then that has a lot of impact on you.
Yes. Yeah. So when you find yourself losing your spiritual connection and you turn to food, what is it that starts to bring you back?
Slowing down,
Mm-hmm.
accepting what is.
So on average, let's say you're losing your spiritual connection, you start to turn to food, you might gain some weight. How long does that last? Does it last days, weeks, months?
It has totally depended on the situation. like the, like, I would say sometimes it's been like 3 months, sometimes it's been a year, and yeah, of like gaining weight or being in a weight that I'm not happy in.
So in the last time that you felt like you lost connection, how long was it?
I would say a little over a year.
And in that year, did you feel as if you completely lost your spiritual connection, or just a little bit, or?
I felt like the situation I was going through was for a reason and for a cause, and that it like was to teach me something, and that I had to go through it to be able to come back stronger. So I always felt like, you know, in hard times and in good times, you like, of course, it's not always going to be good times. You have to go through hard times to, just like a diamond, it has to be polished really, really hard for it to start to shine.
Yes. So do you get mad at yourself when you gain weight? What do you say to yourself at those times when you're not happy with yourself? If I could hear the inner conversation inside your head, what might you be saying?
That I don't have control, and that I might become fat, and that I should start to eat less and exercise more, and
yeah,
I'm not going to eat this or that or that or that. I'm only going to eat this specific thing because this is secure.
Yeah. For so many people, Lilja, that fear of I'm going to get fat and I'm going to stay there for the rest of my life or get worse. It's a very powerful fear. And it can really drive us. And I want to point out that, yes, when you have that fear, there's a part of you that then mobilizes yourself. And, okay, I have to get under control now. And I have to control my food.
Exactly.
And it's really like jumping from one extreme to the other. It's almost as if you were driving down a road, but instead of just staying in your lane and going straight, you're swerving from one side to the other side. You eventually get where you want to go, but it's a pretty rocky ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because you are a religious young woman, I think it's important to remember a few pieces of what you've learned in your religion. One of them is faith. And it sounds like you have that and it gets challenged. And you have it and it gets challenged. And, you know, I could easily be in this same conversation with somebody else and it's not necessarily a spiritual conversation.
Yeah.
But to me, in so many ways, it often gets down to that place where we have to learn how to be a human being in this world, and the world has a lot of challenges.
Yes.
It's not easy being a young woman. It's not easy being a young man. It's not easy being a young woman in this world, having to deal with all the messages that you get around weight and around your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible to escape the programming that you need to look a certain way in order to be loved.
Yeah.
And part of, I think, your path is remembering that you're loved no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jesus was here right now and you had 10 extra kilos, I doubt he'd be judging you, or I doubt he'd be loving you any less, or insist that you go on a diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think part of what you're learning is that real love has nothing to do with how much you weigh.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you want to feel good in your body. I understand that. And your body, I think bodies have a natural weight to them. Just like we have our natural emotions, we have our natural way of being, we have our natural gifts and talents. And the body has its own naturalness. And when we take care of the body and when we are taking care of ourselves on a deeper level, the body tends to find its rightful place.
Yeah.
So part of it is also sort of forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
In a whole different way. And in a strange way, when you get back on track, there's a little bit of that getting back on track where it's just a little bit where it's almost like a punishment. Because you've been a bad girl, so now we have to really control what you eat. Yeah. And we have to really get very specific. And if I get specific, that means I don't go out with people, I don't eat out, I just have to have a very predictable way of eating, which is in the comfort of my own home or in the places that I know I'm going to get exactly what I want to get. And there might be a middle ground there for you. In fact, I think there is.
Yes.
And you're discovering that. You're not there yet. But I think that's your task, is finding what's a middle ground where, okay, I lost my connection a little bit and I turned to food. Once you start to turn that around, I think the first thing to do is to just practice forgiving yourself before you do anything else, before you control your food, before you improve your diet. The first thing to do is I forgive myself.
Yeah.
I am forgiven. There's no sin actually that's really been committed. But forgive yourself anyway, just in case you think you have committed some sin. And know that you're forgiven. And once you know that, and once you start to feel that a little more, because it's a feeling, right? Once you start to feel that a little bit more, faith or trust, to me, for you, means applying faith and trust more to your body. And just trusting that your body is a gift. This is the body that you have. This is the body you've been given. And all things considered, from what I can tell, it's probably a good, healthy body. Might have its little challenges here and there, but you've been given a good, healthy start. And this is the body you're here to love. And this is the body you're here to take care of. And if you're going to be a mother someday and have kids, this is the body that's going to help them be born into this world.
Yeah.
So there's something about trusting that your body will always return at some point to its rightful place without you having to force it.
Yes.
Right now, you think you have to force your body to make it return to where it ought to be. You don't have to force it. Really, what you have to do is simply love it. So when you start turning to food, one of the reasons we'll turn to food is because food is love for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, food is love. Makes me feel loved. Makes me feel good in the moment. All human beings have that. Food is love for us. And then when you realize, oh, wait a second, I've been doing that. I have to withdraw the love. I can't look at food as love. I have to look at it as something I need to control and make sure I do it right, or make sure I exercise more, whatever it is. But food is still love. Food is still love. And it's really about you loving yourself into getting back to taking care of yourself. As opposed to trying to control.
So letting go of control.
Yeah, or letting go of thinking that I need to control in order to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
See, people often mistake, we often use the word control as a way to say that my instincts and my urges, there's something wrong with them, and I have to get them under control. So there's nothing wrong with your instincts and urges. Your instincts and urges perfectly understand that food is love. There's nothing wrong with that instinct. You make food for other people. That's your way of loving them. Food is love. So that instinct is perfectly fine. And it's all about you noticing that you need to return to love for you.
Yeah.
Even if I've gained weight, even if I've just become a little separated from my spiritual connection, I can love myself back into healthy habits. I don't have to control myself.
Yes. That's also a lesson that, or what came to me first when you asked me, what have you learned through all these fluctuations? And it's that I'm the only one that is like, I need to be here for me always. I need to, like, I can't make someone else bring me happiness or something. I need to bring in myself and accept myself and love what is.
So if you were going to love yourself more in this journey you're in with food, what might that look like for you?
Trusting my gut.
And trusting your gut means for you what?
To trust that, like, what my body is craving, needs and that I'm allowed to eat it.
Mhm. I like that. I want to add something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Trusting your gut also can mean that if you crave a food and you eat it and you end up feeling yucky and that food didn't work for you and
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't really what you needed, you
Mm-hmm.
trust that you're still okay, you're
Mm-hmm.
still a good person, you're
Mm-hmm.
still a human being that's learning and growing,
Mm-hmm.
and trust that you will stand by yourself and
Mm-hmm.
not punish yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the people that we trust the most in our life are people that we know will be there for us no matter what.
Yes.
So, same for you. Trusting yourself means you will be there for yourself no matter what, even if you make a mistake.
Yeah. Wow. The first thing I thought about was like, yeah, okay, I would trust my mom and I would trust my dad and like this and this one because they're always going to be here for me. But that's a good point that I need to be the one also.
Yes. Also, have the people that you trust that you know are going to be there for you no matter what, and
Mm-hmm.
you be that person for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of, you know, I'll often say to people, I think the most difficult decade for us is the 20s. Some people say
Mm,
it's the teens. I think it's the 20s
yeah.
because when you're in your teens, you know, you're not expected to be an adult. You're expected to be a teenager. It's expected that things are going to be rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in your 20s, you're no longer a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You're not quite this independent adult that is
Yeah.
100% necessarily supporting yourself and you've got it all figured out and your life is easy and perfect. It's an interesting transition period. So I
Mm-hmm.
just think that the 20s can be very rocky and it's a time of just so much self-discovery and self-learning. Much of it can be really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the 20s are so hard for that reason because we're learning to define ourselves
Mm-hmm.
outside of what the world has taught you, outside of even what your parents have taught you, because now you have your own experience
Exactly. Yeah.
and you have to figure out how to make sense of your experience where previously when we're kids, our parents make sense of our experience for us. They're telling us everything that's going on. They're
Uh-huh.
driving us around. They're making sense of the world for us.
Mm-hmm.
So you're learning how to make sense of your journey with food and body.
Mm-hmm.
And part of making sense is what you're already doing to me, which is you're making this part of your spiritual journey, which it is. And noticing that these challenges at the end of the day, they're helping you grow as a person,
Mm-hmm.
difficult as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So back to trusting yourself, it means that you're going to stand by yourself, even when you're disappointed in yourself.
Yeah. And it's like, so I have been diagnosed with all types of, or all eating disorder challenges. And now the recent one, a few months ago, I was diagnosed with anorexia, and I've been getting help for that. And it's been a very, very interesting and rough journey because I never thought I would come to this place. But in my mind, it was like, yeah, okay, finally I'm thin enough. Finally, I have enough control. But then people are now telling you to let go and to give them, like, I have schedule of how I'm supposed to eat and a program. And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to eat like this many times and do this. And it's like, I look at the program and I'm like, but I want to do this. Like, and my body is craving this. And I find all these excuses to like not do the program. So I put it on hold, and I'm always putting on hold and instead just like doing my own thing and eating what I think is like taste better or is better for me. And it's like this one side of me is saying, yeah, like this is maybe just what your body needs right now. That's why you want to eat it. And the other side is like, no, you should maybe just trust them and see what happens. Because I'm supposed to gain weight, but I don't want to. And it's weird to put like, yeah, it's good to gain weight, but bad to, because I've always been programmed to like, yeah, I'm going to always lose weight.
Yes. Yes. So how much do the people helping you think you need to gain in terms of weight?
Around 20 pounds since I started, which is like really big for me because I mean, I know I can gain the weight easily if I put my mind to it, but also another part of me just wants to do it slowly and in a gentle way.
Yes.
But also another part of me doesn't want to gain weight and wants to stay skinny.
Mm-hmm. So in your heart, when you look at yourself, how much do you think you ought to weigh? What do you think is truly natural for you if you had the healthiest perception of yourself? How much weight do you think you would need to gain or not? In your opinion?
Mm-hmm. I would say that I would like a weight that I feel good at is around 50 to 55 kilos. But most people say that that's too little because then I won't have my period and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Have you lost your period?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you had it?
April of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
And that was when I was like a much higher weight. And then I started losing weight. So and I also got my period very, very late.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have had a regular period for maybe, let's say, 1 year of my whole life.
Wow. Okay. So here's just a different way to think about you and your period.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about your body. On the one hand, it's all about the biology of your body saying, I'm a reproductive human. Mm-hmm. I'm a reproductive female. I can give birth and continue the species. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's certain instances and there's certain times when nature naturally says to us, wow, don't reproduce. Because the chances that your offspring, your children will be healthy are radically diminished. Nature doesn't want you reproducing if you are not healthy enough. Mm-hmm. So if your body thinks it's starving, it'll stop having a period because biology, nature, the wisdom of life, the way God created us, doesn't want us giving birth when we're in a famine condition or when there's no food around. So right now, your body has been thinking that there's no consistent food source. It's just been thinking that. So therefore, your period will be inconsistent. So to me, that's what's happening on a biological level. On a psychological level, stress will impact for many people their ability to have their period. And it's stressful to be on the kind of journey that you've been on. It's a stressor.
Yeah.
So anorexia, on the one hand, for so many people, it can start out as, I want to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose enough weight, the mind loses a certain perception.
Yeah.
And we can get a little bit high when you can minimize your appetite. There's a high that happens, and it feels good.
Yeah.
And it's no different in a strange way from the high of cocaine or heroin or a drug that's not very good in excess for the body. It's nice in the moment, but it doesn't really give us happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So
when is that high experienced?
Say again?
Like how is that high experienced? What part of the brain like diminishes, and like what keeps you going? Because it's like when I eat more, I'm more tired and I'm weird, but then I get a high, like you're saying.
Yes, it's it's hard to really pin down the exact science of it, but there is a euphoria that can happen when the body, when you bring down metabolism and you lose enough body weight. I think part of that euphoria is in a strange way where there's not much food in the digestive tract, so we lose a sense of grounding. So we become very expansive. So there's a chemistry that is just very expansive and it just feels like an opening almost. It feels like, wow, I'm in a great space.
Yeah.
And then eating is heavy and it's dense. And you've already trained your body to not want food. So when you start to eat food, it feels heavy and dense. So it then becomes really, it's sort of a battle for, do you wish to be here or not? Do I wish to be alive? Because the end result of anorexia for a lot of people, for a certain number of people, is death. Because if you starve the body enough, you're going to die. And you can have a person who's 70 pounds and they're on their deathbed and they think that they're fat.
Yeah.
So to me, one of the spiritual challenges of the anorexic mindset is choosing to be here, choosing to be alive, choosing to be in a body and be in the body on its own terms. Because we want to control the body. I want the body to do exactly what I want it to do. I want it to be healthy, and I want my body to be thin or muscular or whatever we want it to be. I want my body to be like this. And that's our terms. That's your terms. That's my terms. What are the body's terms? Because the body is just a representative of the creator. So the wisdom of the creator is in the body.
Yes.
So when I say on the body's terms, what does the body want? The body wants to be here. The body wants food. The body wants you to have an appetite. The body wants you to be able to take in food, eat it, digest it, assimilate it, take what you need, and excrete what you don't need.
Yeah.
And the body just wants that flow. It doesn't want my mind interfering with that process.
Exactly.
So really, I think what you're deciding right now is, do I want to be here in my life on earth on not my terms, but the creator's terms?
Exactly. Maybe like what's coming to my mind right now is also that like, you know, from a young age, you have a lot of dreams and stuff and you want to fulfill them. And then like the life comes and, you know, you go through experiences and it's hard. And when you have a sensitive heart, then it is challenging and you kind of back and you think like, oh, maybe all the things that I dream of are not possible. But I've been known to be like this positive girl who like, yeah, you can do anything you set your mind to and all these things. And then right now it's like I'm a completely different, I think differently. And it's like hard because of the bumpy roads that I've gotten into in life.
Yes. Yes. And that's your spiritual challenge. That's your religious challenge, is how to be here and be with pain and difficulty and resurrect yourself and find the light and find faith and find trust and find love again and find your connection to a higher power that keeps you going, because we do lose it. And we lose it for good reason, because we get hurt. And we lose hope or faith or trust. And it's always about us digging deeper and finding it again. And it doesn't stop. As far as I can tell, it never ends. What does change is that we find ourselves more and more. And what does change is that you will eventually, and this might take you a few more years, but you will eventually land in your body in a different way. In a strange way, it's sort of like you're looking to be born again.
Yeah.
But in order to be born again, you have to be born into your body. Because that's how the first birth starts. You're born into the world. So yes, you can be born again in your faith, but you have to bring your body with you all the time.
Yes.
So part of you gaining weight, don't think of it as, oh, I have to gain X amount of weight because that's what they're telling me. So yeah, there's a wisdom to that. But really what you're doing is you're agreeing to be here, and you're agreeing to occupy your body in a different way. And in order for you to be here, your body has to be anchored. You're learning how to do that. It's a little bit of a rough ride because you are a sensitive soul. And sensitive souls were easily knocked out of the body.
Wow.
Just is. People who are there are some people who are hardier souls. They can go through a lot of trauma and difficulty and they just keep going. Yes. There are people like that, and I love them. And there are people who are more sensitive souls, and I love them too. There's just all different kinds of people, and you're a sensitive soul, and it's easy for you to be knocked out of your body or to want to leave it. Yeah. So this is about you learning how to stay in your body and keep loving it, even though, gaining weight doesn't feel comfortable for me. You have a whole lifetime ahead of you where you can gain weight and lose it and gain it and lose it. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's easy to gain weight and lose weight. You've done it.
Yeah.
You've actually done it. So it's, in a weird way, it's not a mystery. Your body can gain weight. Your body can lose weight. And your body
Yes.
can gain it and lose it and gain it. Really, what's important is you getting more comfortable being in it while you're going through the challenges of your life.
Mhm.
And this, ultimately, you're going to get to the place where you're going to let the body do what it does, because you could be eating the healthiest food and you'll be at your ideal weight. And then all of a sudden you're eating the same healthy food and then your weight might change.
That's happened. Yeah.
Yes. And so there's so many factors that we don't even understand or know.
Hmm.
There's emotional factors, there's biological factors. The body is on its own journey.
Hmm.
And our job is to surrender to it more and more.
Hmm.
Take care of it as best you can.
Hmm.
So I'm just talking about the big picture for you. To me, that's where you're going, where you just learn to trust your body. And if it fluctuates, it's going to fluctuate, but you're going to still stand by yourself.
Hmm. And when you say being born again and taking your body with you, can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. Part of it from a spiritual standpoint, it's you feeling a renewed relationship with God and Jesus and life.
Hmm.
It's just made new again.
Yeah.
And I believe we can be born again 100 times in our lifetime.
Every day, every day.
Once or
Yeah.
twice, maybe 1,000 times. I don't know.
Hmm.
We live so many lives in one life.
Hmm.
And so there's the place where it's you finding your faith in life and believing that I'm going to be taken care of,
Yeah.
because the evidence shows that you've always been taken care of.
Hmm.
That's the evidence.
Hmm.
So it's believing that. And taking your body with you means just trusting the whole package, even
Hmm.
when you can't control it,
Yeah.
even when you don't understand it, even when you need help.
Yes.
And I see you doing that. That's what you're doing. You're not at the goal line yet,
Hmm.
but I see that you're working hard, right? You're working hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful. And that's the best you can do. And you're doing the best you can do.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm so happy for you, because even though you're not in the place that you want to be in yet, your faith is helping drive you there.
Yes.
And the love in your life is helping move you in that direction.
Hmm.
So there is love in your life. It might not be the exact kind of love that you want right now.
Yeah.
It might not be the love from your ideal partner, but you have
Hmm.
to notice that there's love in your life. And a lot of it
Hmm.
sounds like. So I'm very I just have a ton of confidence that you're going to get where you want to go. I really do. And
Me too.
sometimes it's just good to remind ourselves that, the journey's hard right now,
Hmm.
and you're doing so many good things for yourself.
Hmm. And
So
also about this self-discovery and becoming who you want to be and stuff, that's so right, because we're programmed as children to think and do certain things, and then you start to go on your own and find what you like and love, and yeah, it's all a journey, and it's all going to come together so beautifully if you just trust.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes that trust is not easy. And that's why we reach out for help in our life. And that's why you then do the things that you know to do that help rediscover that trust. Whether it's prayer, whether you go to church, whatever it is, you do the things that you know support me.
Yes.
Yeah. And one last thing, even as you're getting help with, anorexia and gaining weight, as much as I understand that you've been given this diagnosis of anorexia, to me, what I hear is that you're learning how to be on planet Earth, and you're learning how to claim that this is my life and this is my body, and I'm going to stand by myself, and I'm going to be in this, and I'm going to be on this journey.
Yeah.
That's really what it is for you. It's not some disease, or it's not something that's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. How are you feeling, Lilja, with this conversation?
Hopeful and excited to get to that place where, just because today, or like these past few days, it's like, okay, I'm waking up because I know I need to eat. And it's something that's hard. And so I kind of just want to sleep, or just go work or something else. But getting to a place where everything, like you're doing it for you, and you're accepting that, like, the things that challenge you, they make you grow, and they make you go out of your comfort zone and discover new things, because this life is full of uncertainty, but also excitement and fun things.
So true. I'm so glad we had this conversation. I so appreciate you just going to a deeper place and really sharing honestly about yourself. So thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Lilja, and thank you everybody who's tuned in. I so appreciate your time and your energy. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.